so much for tuning in. My name is Paquet. If you're new around here, I talk on this podcast a lot about motivation, systems to keep you going, chasing your dreams, being the highest version of yourself, and however you define that as a person. And today I'm going to be talking to you guys about why who you surround yourself with matters. So that circle of friends and influence, who you work with, all those kind of things really matter. Before I get into that, I wanted to tell you, if you have any interest in finding more about me, you can go to my website. It's Paquet.com. My last name is Paquet. And on there you can sign up for my free course. It's a 7-day course about confidence, building your confidence, chasing your dreams, tuning into yourself, all sorts of like good juicy stuff. You can also get on my email list, which will notify you when new podcasts come out. It also has information on there about working with me one-on-one if there are some specific goals that you want to chase down, if you feel like you need a little extra push in 2025. Whatever it is, I'm here for you. And so I offer one-on-one coaching, and the information about that is at DianaPaquet.com. With that being said, I had an experience the other night that reminded me how important women are. As I've said in some previous episodes, I had a very weird December. I was in the hospital a couple of times. I was diagnosed with Graves' disease, dealing with a chronic condition for the first time, and sort of like navigating the healthcare system and what a time suck it is to try to become the healthiest version of yourself. And so I didn't have a lot of time to do the normal things I would do, the holiday parties, the being social, the going to just all the things, like the gym party, all the things that I would have gone to, I didn't end up doing in December. And then January was kind of odd because we did this whole upstairs renovation. We got new flooring and a new fireplace, and we painted. And so the house was wild, and everything settled back down. And I threw out a text to my neighborhood girlfriends. There's 4 of us that sometimes get together. And we just brought in food. It was a very simple Mediterranean, nothing fancy. I'm not a fancy girl when it comes to cooking. So I brought the food in, and we just sat around and visited and caught up. And, some of these people, they have some very inspiring things that they do, whether it's their advocacy, whether it's their actual job. I have one friend who's an attorney, and so she's got interesting stories. It blows me away how I got so lucky to have the kind of friends that I have in my life, whether it's across the street, people that I admire, people that do things that I'm just so proud that I have people around me that can inspire my children, my adult children, to see what is possible. I was having this outer body experience. I'm sitting by the fireplace, the fire is roaring, which is so nice. The girls are sitting on the couch. There's no kids around. Thomas took all the, everybody was upstairs. And there's these 3 beautiful, accomplished, amazing, loving, giving, supportive friends. And my art was behind him, and I was just like, how did I get so lucky? And I started thinking about that, and then I thought about it the last few days. I didn't get lucky. I cultivated it. So one thing I did was that I made room for those kind of people to come into my life. And that's one of the things that we need to think of. If we really buy into the idea that who we surround ourselves with truly matters, and we only have a finite amount of time in our days to be social, to text back and forth with someone, all those things that we do, then we need to take any of those people that are in our lives that aren't bringing out the best in us, keeping us inspired, making us feel great about ourselves, reminding us who we want to be, and cut those people out of our lives. This is a personal choice, but I think as time wears on and you get more yellow flags or red flags about people, it's time to have those difficult conversations and say to even if you're having a conversation with yourself, is this person worth my time anymore? But if we back that up even further, I think we have to start with, am I worthy? Am I behaving in a way that is going to attract those kind of people? So if we start by saying am I the kind of friend that I would want to have? When we get together, am I complaining about my husband, or am I grateful for what I've got? When we get together, am I complaining about the same problem over and over again, or am I working through that? Am I admitting, hey, something is out of my control, but I'm working on it? Are you being the type of person that you would want to hang out with? And I think for me, there have been stages in my life where I'm I don't feel like I'm the best version of myself to offer up in friendship. And I think that is sort of a turning point where it's well, am I reciprocal? Do I reach back out? Do I invite people into my home? Do I actually make plans, or I just go to the plan? Am I just always kind of tagging along, or do I actually try to make some plans too? And I think that when you start looking at yourself, that's the best place to start from. Get your own house in order. Who do you want to be? What kind of kindness and loving, what kind of spirit of adventure? Imagine hanging out with yourself, and are you like gossipy, or are you fun and exciting to be around? Are you down in the dumps, or are you pumped about the future? What kind of person are you? And think about that first. And if you think about what comes out of your mouth, what kind of gratitude comes out of your mouth, or ungratefulness comes out of your mouth, you have that choice. And when you start looking at things through that lens, maybe take an assessment of what your perspectives are and decide, am I being who I would really want to hang out with? That's the best place to start. And then once you do that, and you've made some room, you've decided which relationships are worthy for you to hang out with, actually pursue people. Text people. Put it on your reminder list. Hey, I'm going to text these 3 friends once a week just to check in and see how things are going. I'm going to remember their birthdays. I'm going to put it on the calendar. I'm going to invite people into my home. I'm going to leave flowers on their doorstep. Whatever your thing is, your personal thing is. If you really want to surround yourself with people who are high quality people, who are motivating people, it's really important that you take the initiative and show them that this is something that you're serious about pursuing. Friendship isn't a one-way street. Friendship is a two-way thing. And I've had friendships before where I'm like super excited about the friend. They seem to possess all the qualities that I really want in a friend, and I kind of pursue that and I don't get pursued back. And sadly, this is a reality. That's okay. Maybe they too only have so much time in the day. They too have particular things they want out of friendship. And I think that pursuing a person should only go so far. If you're not getting pursued back, it's not a good match. That's okay. There's so many people out there that want to be your friend. There's so many people out there that would find value in who you are. So keep that in mind. There was a time years ago, like if you looked at a version of me 10 years ago, I wanted to have a good time. I wanted to numb out because I was going through a really challenging period of my life, divorcing and losing businesses and feeling really insecure. And so it was so nice to have some drinks and just hear some gossip. And I craved a totally different thing than what I crave now. And I think that that's important to note. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. If that's the stage or the place you're in, or if you find yourself in a place where you're like, I really need someone to vent with, and I vent to her and she vents to me, and there's nothing wrong with that. But as time passes on, venting can only take you so far. There has to actually be some action towards some of these goals or dreams that you want to achieve. And if you find yourself in a different place in life, different stage in life, there's nothing wrong with spending less time either doing that with that friend, and you and that friend kind of evolve up. Like maybe you and her, like, well, I'm not venting about my physicality and my weight anymore. I'm going to the gym. That's actually doing something about it, right? I'm actually getting together with her and we're food prepping. This is sort of the new version of this friendship. There's nothing wrong with having that friendship evolve and grow. It's a beautiful thing. That's happened to me before. There's also nothing wrong if you want to evolve and grow, to bring in other people, surround yourself with other people that are already doing well in that area. Because honestly, if you want to do better, but then you just keep going back and doing the same habit, you're going to be stuck doing that same thing. I recently got involved with this group of podcasters. They're podcasters, course creators, book writers, all people who are all in that sort of self-helpy genre. It might be delivered through a podcast. It might be delivered through YouTube, but it's all the same thing. We all want to create courses to help others grow in areas that we feel like we could have something to share and have something to teach, right? So I've been podcasting for years and I don't know another podcaster. Well, this year, well, actually last year, I got involved with this group. And so there's 4 of us that meet every Monday. I cannot believe the amount of forward momentum I've seen in this business for myself since I've actually started talking with these girls every week. Not only do we talk on Monday, and we talk about our struggles, but we also talk about our wins or what our plans are. We hold each other accountable. And throughout the week, I mean, at first we didn't know each other that well, so it started out, we just talk on Mondays. And then eventually it was like, oh, there's a text thread. So we like encourage each other on maybe a Wednesday and then talk on Monday. Now it's like we're texting each other throughout the day on most days. Hey, I did this. Hey, I saw this thing to sign up for. And so it is amazing how, that's a perfect example if you think about it, how surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded, who have like-minded goals and dreams, who are rooting for you and you're rooting for them, it causes so much forward momentum and gives you such this like, I don't know, this like awesome uplift and excitement about what you're doing. And it also keeps me on the tracks because I'm like, oh, I know I'm meeting with the girls on Monday, so I want to have something to report. And it's easy to have a dream. So here we are, and then here's the dream. And then this is like 10 years between. It can like shorten that time span of reaching the dream by having people that are like, hey, you said you were going to do this, or we're supposed to be doing that. And they're like, oh yeah, that's right. So that accountability, that inspiration, because some of these girls are much further along in their journey than I am. And that I feel like known and seen and understood. Like I didn't have anybody before that was like, oh, I get you. I get what you want to do. And it's funny because, you know, my other career has been a hair career, and I owned gigantic salons out in Georgia and here. And I've done everything from, I was telling Thomas, like I bought this, the one that I did here in Huntington, we bought this skate shop because it was the only way to get a lease on this street that I wanted to be on. And so while we were going through plans and reviews with the city, I started doing hair illegally in the salon to make extra money while I was selling off the surfboards, the skate decks, the wetsuits out of this surf shop. There's actually like a huge, gigantic half pipe that had to be disassembled. My little kids, Cooper and Scarlett, who are now, you know, 23 and 19, used to sit inside after school and like play with their cars. I had this big career doing this one thing, and I was very passionate about it. I've always loved doing hair. I love making people feel confident within 2 hours. You know, they look beautiful. They feel great. And I also like, I'm pumping them full of like, say, you know, get on a gratitude practice. You know, I've been coaching people for 25 years behind the chair. Positivity, injecting them with verbal positivity while I make them feel positive about the way that they look, right? It's always been my thing. I've never been a gossipy hairdresser. I've always been a like positive, motivational, you got this, lifting people up kind of a thing. Well, a lot of that momentum that I had for doing hair, I'm throwing that into this project. I really feel like getting your hair done is wonderful. Taking care of your skin, makeup, cosmetics, all that stuff, it's wonderful. But that's just a small percentage of confidence. That's just a small percentage of joy. There's so much inside that we can do to work on ourselves to feel amazing. And so while it took me, let's see, I opened my first salon when I was like 27, and I opened the first salon with 2 chairs. Within a year, I had 18 chairs, and it was like 18-hour days constantly working all this momentum to get this thing going. And now I'm doing this thing, and it's the same thing. It takes a lot of work, a lot of momentum, a lot of, you know, meeting people where they are and taking these small wins, doing interviews, but it's a lot of work. And I feel like while I chased down this second career of coaching, course creating, lifting people up from the inside, where my first 25-year career, I was lifting people up from the outside and sneaking in a little inside stuff. Now I want to do the inside work with people. It's taking a lot of work to get the momentum going. And by having these 3 women that I meet with, it's amazing how I am actually seeing that train starting to move down the tracks a little bit faster and faster. So it's exciting. So anyway, that all of this, I'm wrapping it up to say that I really, really think that who you surround yourself with can make a huge difference in your life. And if this reaches one person who's like, you know what? I'm spending too much time texting back and forth in this negative way with this person, whether it's someone you're divorcing and that's gotten really ugly, whether it's a mother-in-law who's not the greatest to you, you have to start sort of like using your force field to sort of block out some of that negativity so that A, you have the space to let other great people into your world, and B, you are getting that support and love and kindness that you deserve, so that you can go forward and be the best version of yourself. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to see this on video, if you're listening to this on audio and you want to see these on video, if you're a Spotify member, the video is over there. It's also on YouTube at Diana Paquet. You can go to my website or you can catch me on Instagram. All right, friends, thank you so much.